halftime. Unfortunately for the Raiders, there's 60 minutes in a football game. And the fact of the matter is, as much experience as this team has, they're still figuring out how to play together and execute. There's still a lot of football to be played in 2018, and if the Raiders figure out the mystery that is the second half, this could be a team that can make things interesting in the wide-open AFC West. For Silver and Black Today, I'm Dave Stepanian.
It would help if I turn the mic on. There's our man, David Stepanian. David, thanks for that package. And we saw a stat, too, just now, right, too, Matt, which says that the Raiders have a minus 36-point differential in the second half this season, which is worst in the NFL.
Is anybody surprised by that? They have 7 points in the second half. Seven exactly. Points, and it was on the first drive of the second half against Denver. That's it. No field goals, no random safeties, one touchdown. That's it. They have to improve on the offensive side of the ball. I don't care what stats say. Top 10 in offense, that's yards. That's meaningless. It doesn't matter how many yards you gain in a game. It matters how many.
It's me crazy.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it haunts you, right? Now, you can have a good kicker and good special teams and all that kind of stuff, and those matter, but you have, at the end of the day, you have to put 6 points on the board. And the Raiders continue to have problems with that. And we have Raider Rob on the phone. Raider Rob, my man, what do you think about the Raiders' problems in the first versus second half?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think about the Raiders' problems and also the solution. First of all, you're typically not a better defense when you don't have your best player on the team, and that's what happened. I do agree with the move, though, and I believe that John Gruden is going to put his stamp on this football team. A lot of these players that are here now are not going to be here next year and in the next couple of years, but I will say this, that the Raiders are playing a little bit better than they were last year. So in perspective, they're not going to compete for the Super Bowl. Let's be real, guys. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win that division probably by 2 games, all right?
Wow.
The way they're playing right now, nobody's going to beat them because you're going to have to outscore the Chiefs to win. And we were just you guys were just talking very nicely about how the Raiders are having problems scoring points. Well, guys, in case you watched last week, Kansas City's not having any problem scoring points on home, on the road, first half, second half. They can score anytime they want. The Raiders are improving. Now, the one problem that I have is this. The guy under center, behind center, Derek Carr. I'm not a Derek Carr guy. I love the kid. He works hard, but he doesn't have the it factor. And when it comes down to him making the play, he's not going to. I don't care about the statistics. 90% completions is fabulous. But when it's 4th and 1 and you got a tackle eligible and the guy's doing jumping jacks 15 yards down the field and you want to throw it to a back who's covered by 2 people, I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
When you're underthrowing a big-time tight end in the end zone against the Rams when you can get a 10-point lead before half, I got a problem with that. Derek Carr makes the bad play in the crucial situation, and if you go back in the history books and look at a guy like Joe Montana or Kenny Stabler even, they don't do things like that. And it's, I believe it, I hate to say it, guys, it's in his DNA. John Gruden is underneath it all, probably coping with it because he knows football probably as well as I do or better.
Well, Rob.
The point is that I just believe that John Gruden is probably going to hold his breath for a little while with him, and then they're going to move on. But the Raiders are improving. They're fun to watch, and I definitely hope they get that W today against the Dolphins, my friend.
Well, Rob, thanks for the call, man. And you know what? I think I'm not ready to mail it in on Derek Carr yet, but I do agree with some of your concerns, and I know you do too, Matt.
Yeah, I disagree with him not having the it factor. I think he lost it right now because we saw what kind of clutch player he was in 2016. And here's the thing that everybody seems to forget, and sometimes we forget it when we talk about Carr and how he's operating in this offense. 2016 is the only season of his career where he was in a system for a second season. Yeah. He has had a brand new system his rookie year, his second year, his fourth year, and now his fifth year. He has had to work in a brand new system. Only in his third year was he able to repeat that system. And you saw how comfortable he was. And you saw with being comfortable, he had the ability to make those clutch throws and make those clutch decisions because it takes guesswork out of things. When you get comfortable in a system, you don't have to think anymore. You just react to what you see because you already know what's coming. That's what we saw out of Derek Carr. Right now, he's not comfortable yet.
No.
And I think it goes more than beyond just the system. he's not comfortable standing in the pocket. He's not comfortable with his reads yet. There are a lot of things going on in his head that aren't allowing him to just relax and play football. And once he gets back to that, I think you're going to see the Carr that we saw in 2016.
Well, and I don't disagree with you at all. At the same time, what Rob said is Gruden's evaluating. And, to be fair to Carr, again, and I bring this up, it's not an excuse, but 4 playbooks, 5 years, broken back last year, the broken leg the year before, he's not comfortable yet.
No.
And I'm not saying that, again, that it's an excuse. I'm just saying that now that he's healthy, there's no issues there. He's got the new system. He's going to be 3 games in. You got to continue to see that improvement and make the next step. And then you have to be, and we talked to Michael Lombardi earlier with his book, and in his book he talks about how both Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick were brutal businessmen when it came to personnel decisions, meaning they didn't care if they drafted a guy in the first round and after a while he wasn't doing it, goodbye.
What matters? What matters?
Winning.
Winning. That's it. That's it. Nobody cares about anything else. If the Raiders right now looked like the Rams and they were 2-0, nobody would be talking about the Mack trade. Nobody would be talking about these behind-the-scenes personnel decisions with John Gruden and the supposed infighting within the organization. Nobody would be talking about any of that because the only thing that matters in any sport is winning. It doesn't matter how you get there. The Patriots have been suspended how many times? They've lost draft picks. Brady's missed games because this organization is known as cheating. What do they have in the Belichick-Brady era? 5 Super Bowls. Nobody cares because they win. It's the only thing that matters.
And they spend countless hours getting prepared to win, getting the right players. Bill Belichick meets with his quarterback. I mean,
imagine that.
Imagine that. All right. We are going to step aside just for a minute here. When we come back, we're going to close out the show with Matt's Audible. You're listening to Silver and Black today on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
This is Silver and Black Today, live on CBS Sports Radio 1140. Here's your host, Scott Gulbranson.
Welcome back, Silver and Black Today. We are just about 11 minutes from kickoff in Miami. FLA, Raiders, Dolphins. By the way, you're in the car right now or you're listening on your radio.com app to us. And you're thinking, in your pocket or in your significant other's pocket, whatever. And you're saying, where am we going to go watch the Raider game? Where are we going to go watch the Raider game? You want to go watch the Raider game where you can hear the Raider game, right? Because you want to be able to hear the announcers unfairly treat the Raiders, right? And if you're going to do that,
it's funny you say
the bias, you're going to want to go to a place that's not only great with cold beverages, but also great food. Even if you want to sit and you want to play some video poker while you're watching it, go to the Pint, proud sponsor of local programming here on CBS Sports Radio, our show, the Sports Adrenaline Show. Go to the Pint up on West Charleston. It's a great spot. You can watch and hear the Raider games. I want to thank them for supporting the Silver and Black today. Now, we were talking during the break. We brought up an old radio legend, a name from Las Vegas, Papa Joe Chevalier.
Papa Joe.
For those of you in Las Vegas, you know who that is.
He was great.
But good memories of that. Okay, Matt, so this is the portion of the show where you surprise me and everyone else with your audible.
Well, it's funny. You just kind of alluded to it. The penalties and people complaining with the Raiders. This is going well beyond Raiders now. I'm sure you guys watched it doing the PG last week, your post-game show, wrapping everything up. The Clay Matthews hit. The supposed
yes, we did.
The supposed personal foul, unnecessary roughness, and I don't know. Can you float? I'm curious. Can you? I can't float. Can you float?
Not since.
Can anybody out there?
Not since
float?
I was in the Matrix.
Yeah. Well, there you go. This? I get it. Okay, I understand protecting quarterbacks to a degree, but you're asking guys to do things that aren't physically possible. If you're going to tackle somebody, how do you not land on them? You're tackling them. And why is it only quarterbacks that are subjected to this kind of protection, I guess? Why are they different from everybody else? I get the head hits and blindside hits and things like that where they're more or less unprotected, I guess you could say, right? They're not looking, they're not expecting, coming across the middle with receivers, things of that nature. But if you're going to tackle somebody, rules for tackling should be the same across the board because there are physics involved. You cannot tackle somebody and not land on them. The problem that I have with it is the way that it's changing games. Right. That game was over. That Vikings-Packers game was over. Now I don't care. I don't have a horse in that race. I don't care who wins that game. But the game was over, and you completely changed the outcome of the game to the point where they played to a tie because you allowed that drive to continue because in a completely legal football hit, you called a penalty.
Yeah.
My big problem with this is where does this line get drawn? Because you can tackle a running back. You can hit a running back in the head. Every single play, linemen are crashing heads as physically violent as possible.
Right.
And all of that is okay, even though the result physically is the same. You're still cracking skulls. You're still going to have brain issues. You're still going to have injuries. Why do you completely change the outcome of a game for the quarterback?
Well, because it's a passing league, and they are trying to protect the reason why they think people watch.
Okay, that's fine. Then why are you still allowed to sack a quarterback?
I think that's next.
What do you?
They're gonna roll out a big plastic bubble that will open when the passer throws the ball and close when he doesn't.
Seriously, what? So you can't hit a quarterback above the chest, right? Can't hit him above the chest. You can't hit him below the waist. So you essentially running full speed at a moving target have about a 1 to 2 foot area where you can hit him. But now once you do that, you have to. I don't even know. What do you do? Do you roll? Do you hit and roll? Is it a tuck and roll situation?
It is.
How do you play football against a quarterback?
It's like
in
a
this day
tight
and age?
strike zone in baseball. You only have so much. And by the way, the Raider game's coming on television right here in the studio. Bruce Arians, as an analyst, is perhaps one of the worst things I've ever heard. And he's doing the Raider game today. So if you're on your way.
But he's got the hat, though.
He does
Did you
have
see
the
hat?
Yes. Which, you know what? I used to be, I got to lose, as I told people, now it's down to 15 pounds. But I have to lose 15 pounds. I lost 80 pounds before, and when I was a really fat guy, like wearing those hats it's not good.
I don't like those hats just in general.
Well, but if you're a skinny...
Look at him right now. I know you can't see on the feet,
but if you're a skinny little English
little
dude or something...
He looks like he's selling newspapers in the 20s.
Absolutely.
I mean,
well, my shoes are dirty. Maybe he could shine them.
Hot off the presses, man.
But yeah, so that, I mean, Matt, I agree with you. I think that the NFL has an issue there, and I'm surprised that they haven't tried to rectify it already.
I don't know where this goes. I don't know how you can continue to tell people not to tackle a quarterback when there is still a stat called a sack that allows you to tackle a quarterback. It's affecting games, and and I know penalties affect the games a lot. You know, you get a 50-yard pass interference call that nobody agrees with because it's very subjective. But it's impossible to tackle somebody without tackling somebody. That's what they're doing now. They're saying basically you can't tackle a quarterback.
That's right.
What if you just run up and like you push them real hard and they fall down? Is that going to be a penalty eventually because guys aren't allowed to fall?
What if you call them a name?
Is that going to be okay?
What
kind of name? It's got to be. I mean, can you just call him like a mean guy? Is that going to work? Hey, you're a mean guy, and then
I'm sure
he falls down.
You're mean.
How does it work? I want to know how this works.
I'm sure we will have more examples. And by the way, if you want to hear about those examples, tune to this station. Join Tony Cardasco and myself for the PG, your post-game show, which is at 4 p.m. Starts on radio.com today at 4 p.m. because of the Dodgers. I hate those Dodgers.
You're just mad because they're beating the Padres.
Yes. And so we'll start there at 4 o'clock and on to CBS Sports Radio probably around 5.
Scott, over-under number of games today, and you'll be able to wrap this up on the PG.
Yeah.
Number of games today affected by this penalty call. And I'm not talking about
over-under, I'd say 3.
First quarter,
no.
There's the personal foul, and you still have an entire game to go. I'm talking about fourth quarter, late drive, extending a drive, changing the outcome of a game.
3.
Where's the hook? We need a hook.
I don't
2.5, 3.5. Where are we going?
Okay, let's go 2.5.
2.5. You taking the over or under?
I'm taking the under.
Okay.
There will be one egregious one. That's what I'm thinking. All right, Matt, dude, thanks again always for being here.
Yeah, man.
The team, brother.
It's time to watch football. Raiders about to get going.
It's time to watch football.
Wrap this up. We got to go watch the game.
I want to thank Michael Lombardi, who we're holding the book up on TV here on the video, for coming on and joining us. Also, Chris Perkins and Vinny Bonsignore for joining us. The Raiders are about to kick it off in Miami. I want to thank you guys for listening to our show. We'll be back here next week from 8 to 10 a.m. Make sure you tune in to the PG today at 4 p.m. right here on CBS Sports Radio, 1140 a.m. Goodbye, everybody.